throne. So we just sit and talk without action. And when the time for action comes, we do nothing about it. We just, somebody told me, whether we vote or we don't vote, they are going to rig. You make the rigging possible for them, so they rig. You vote, you protect your vote, you go to the collection center, make sure the right thing is done as a citizen. So I don't know what is happening. We need more sensitization. We need to go back home and talk to the people. We own the power, not the people in governance. We actually own the power. We can recall any of our representatives back if we so wish, through the due process. But I don't know what is happening.
Maybe we'll be able to find an answer to that question. Yale, let me come to you, still just on opening remarks. In terms of the situation here in Nigeria and citizens being able to effectively hold government accountable, have we managed to do so? Are we doing what we need to do to play our own parts in the democratic process?
Thank you. Let me say good morning to everyone here present, and I think we're getting there. We're getting there because, thank you. It used to be different. I've worked in the social media sector for the last 12 years, holding government in the executive, legislative, and judicial accountable in Nigeria. Nothing has worked as much as social media in the last 10 years in Nigeria in terms of holding government accountable, because it's beyond their reach. It's accountability beyond borders. And I set up a news website which is well known to everyone here as Sahara Reporters. It became effective because first, we were able to reveal a lot of hidden things about government. And secondly, it was beyond their power to reach us when they would have loved to emasculate us. But I also would say that it has its own downside, to the extent that if you think social media has all the power and you don't do what is necessary next, then governments start to adjust to social media, become numb to the noise from social media. So you must move from revealing everything, holding them accountable on social media, and for you to have the best results, you have to drop your devices and get on your feet. And that is why social media was powerful in Egypt, but until Egyptians dropped their devices, they couldn't have the Arab Spring, which eventually became a liability because it was not micromanaged very well. Same thing with Tunisia. In 2012 in Nigeria, when we had Occupy Nigeria, it was social media that pushed for it. It was social media that was driving it and organized it, and it was social media that delivered the outcome to the rest of the world. And it was a big blow to the ruling class at that time. But they were able to manage it because people relied too much on social media, and when they were supposed to move on that last day that could have led to Nigeria's own equatorial spring, it didn't happen because that number of people who were on Twitter did not come out on the street to help realize what could have been a major seismic change in Nigeria at that time. So I don't want us to think about over-reliance on social media, but I think it's very powerful. It's giving voice to a lot of people, and it's helped us to push back on governmental abuse.
All right, Suleiman.
Good morning, all. Where I'm from, holding government accountable starts 4 years during campaign period. That's when the masses will say, you are campaigning. Let's take what we can get now, because if you're there, we won't see you again. Beyond Twitter post and online post, rules. I feel people need to realize that we need to meet them one-on-one. You need to see their convoy moving and you stop them. In the budget, in your constituency project, you said you was going to do this, you are going to do that. What happened? When we start meeting them, as he said, it's beyond the social media rant. It has to be not violently. They have to know that we know you were supposed to do this and you are not doing them. I think that's why young aspirants like us all over the country after the Not Young run, with competence and values, understanding that for so long we have been stranded, we have been taken back for so long. We are going to be accountable. They are not accountable. They will never be accountable. They are not ready to be accountable. We are going to be accountable.
It's interesting that you say we are going to be accountable, because in some instances, many of the older generation of politicians have accused younger Nigerians of eventually becoming like them. And in terms of seeing such a large number of young Nigerians coming out for elected positions, the largest we've ever seen, the question then is, can we truly do anything different? And I think I'll go back to you, Suleiman, because you're the one who made such an emphatic statement. Will be accountable. Do you truly think young Nigerians will be able to do anything different, given the fact that the examples they have in front of them are the examples of this generation we have so many complaints about? Can we be more accountable, be more empathetic, be more on ground, be more engaged with our constituencies than what we've seen in front of us?
Imagine what will happen to Nigeria if they don't steal the money. Imagine how Nigeria will be if everything is moving fine. Now, for example, I have never been out of this country, but I feel if today I travel out as a public officer and I'm seeing all the glittering cities, why wouldn't I want to have it in my hometown, whereby nobody wants to go out of it? So it's about mindset. It's not about the age or them saying we can't do it. It's about the information we're getting now. They were not having social media during their days. They were not exposed to a lot of pictures coming out from different places. We have role models that are superstars, they are footballers. We have a lot of things we wish we want to do, we want to have. So we can have them here at home. We have the vast land, we have everything it takes to make the country of our dream. So it's about what we want, it's not about what they want.
Elizabeth, when Tony was doing his opening, you mentioned the followership and leadership issue that Nigeria has. We have issues with leaders and we have issues with followers. And you were asking the question, you don't know what's wrong with us. Using the example of Benue State, there's been a massive security situation in Benue State for almost the past 2 to 3 years now. We've talked about salaries being on hold for how many months and then now being piecemealed out to people as elections come up. Why do you think we as Nigerians seem to find it so difficult to organize ourselves and put our foot down with these individuals who treat us like this, looking at the followership problem? Why is that so difficult for us to come forward and take a stand against people who treat us like this?
Like I said earlier, we the citizens, we don't know much power we have. Now, we have decided they are the leaders. So we just sit back and they lead us. You know, if we can just come to terms with ourselves that we have the power to select our leader and keep them or remove them, I think their excesses will be cut down. You know, there's this thing they do in my place. They call it zoning. You know, they'll say, "Is this people's turn?" So they bring up somebody, whether you are doing the right thing or not. They say, "Okay, allow him to complete his term." so that another loan can come up. Then there is this issue of followership, as he said. You know, they just believe strongly whether the person is doing the right thing or not. They just believe the person is the right person. You know, and it has, you know, done a lot of harm and good to us. Now, I'm always saying Benue State because that is the place I am coming from. Okay, the same person that was in another party and something happened, he spoke to the other party, he became a cell automatically because the other party has large followers. So they went to social media trying to like paint the governor white as a what he did, that it wasn't him, that it was the party. It's a party a being. The party is not a being. The governor is a human being perpetrating those things. The moment he joined with the other party, he became a saint. And now everybody is clamoring for him.
What is your problem?
You know, so I want us, the citizens, to know that we are actually the people that hold the power. We are the ones that, we were the ones that enthroned him, and we can actually dethrone them. Now, if they are not performing, we are supposed to tell them, this was here before you came, you promised this, but we are not seeing anything. But if you as an individual want to voice out, you'll be scared because a lot of people are there to antagonize and sometimes they want to hurt you. So you just, as a person, you just keep silent and you watch. So that has been a lot in Benue State.
Okay. Gonna let me come back to you. You have a history of student activism from your time at UNILAG, and while there are many criticisms of activism and activists in recent times, as well as some of the organizations in universities, do you think there are any lessons that ordinary citizens can take away from the kind of involvement and engagement that you had during your time as SUG president?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if there was anywhere in the world the knack for sharing information, it came as an SUG president at the University of Lagos, because every Wednesday we had to explain to the students what's going on campus, within campus and outside campus. So we created a very conscious and well-educated student populace that were willing and ready to fight whenever it was necessary. So, and we already had a defined enemy outside the game, which was the military. In fact, when I was at the University of Lagos, a tank was permanently stationed in front of the gate of the university until I graduated. So it was easy to mobilize students around the enemies. But this time around, I think, for me, everything we learned as students is what made it possible for me to operate, for example, a media company that became very successful, because I had already come with that activist mindset that information is not only power. Information had become life. And we're not information information age, but that knack for using information as a powerful tool to fight against oppression was something I developed on campus. So when internet came my way, I didn't have any doubt in my mind as to how best to use it. Confront our leaders in Nigeria from far away, New York, where I was based for a long time. So, we don't have student union leaders like that anymore. We have student union leaders who are walking around our walls, criminals in the country today. So I don't think that there's anything to learn from the present crop of student leaders that we have, who are appendages of either school of authorities or governors of their states, or who are running around trying to be richer than their oppressors. And the problem, nothing can be worse than,
I'd like to get your answer on this as well. Why do you think a process such as recall or petitions or even going to constituency offices and demanding that certain actions be taken on certain things, why do you feel like we're not doing enough of that? And I'll give you a quick story. Somewhere in India, one small village in India, they have a municipal official who did some kind of contract and messed up the sanitation of the small town. So that day, they all woke up, carried all of their trash, and dumped it in front of his house. The next day, sanitation issues were taken care of. Why are we inactive?
Maybe you should also have heard about the Ukrainian leader who was dumped in a dustbin as well. See, we, as much as we are progressing in use of modern technology, we're fighting back, a lot of our people are still very complacent and docile as well.
Does that have to do with a lack of education?
It's not lack of education. The question we should ask ourselves is, are we educating ourselves, or we're just getting literate so that we can work for somebody? Those are two different things. But when you talk about recall, if you look at the constitutional provision for recalling somebody from the Senate, it's almost impossible to recall anybody. And then you have a very, very corrupt judiciary who is waiting on the wings to market injunctions against a recall process, which they did in the case of
perpetual injunctions.
Not even perpetual. Even the interim injunction he needed to frustrate was available to him. He just needed to push the recall process by a few days. And he succeeded in doing that because the judges were waiting in the wings to get that done. But you look at what social media did in the opposite. There was a guy who wanted to muzzle social media in the Senate. We fought back. If we left it to his constituency, nobody would have recalled him. But we saw that as a crime against us. But if we look at the social media week, invite Saraki here, this place will be full. Because all of the social media influencers are in his pocket. There was a time I was invited here, I was supposed to be a speaker. One of the social media organizers told me that because they don't want me to insult Saraki, they removed me from being a keynote speaker so that Saraki and Dino could come in. This is about 4 years ago. They told me he was fighting me physically here. So the problem is not only on the outside, it's also about people who call themselves media influencers or social media. They sell their soul to these politicians. They will help Dino, mold opinions that are not true about it. They help Saraki, they help Buhari. They are all over the area. Look at, for example, people who said they don't want, not too young to run. They are the same people mostly who run and start calling themselves articulators. They didn't even support the young people they asked to run. They are supporting the same old people. So you have this whole problem. There's a problem of mindset, a problem of values in our society. It's also a problem of greed because everybody is just waiting on the wind to be on the take. At the moment you have a society where young people are not developing consciousness in the way that their consciousness is driven by their conscience and not money, we have a problem. Nobody can recall anybody because you are the one who want to help the guy who's going to be recalled to get what he needs. More people are interested in how many cars Dino has than how many constituency projects he has implemented in the state. In fact, I remember during the time he was being recalled, he took his car to his village and he had a Corvette beside the car. And the cost of the car was more than the amount of money he spent on the Corvette. It was on social media that they then called him out and he rushed and built his constituency office. So that's the problem, and we've been monitoring it. Except we change that value process, we have nowhere to go. We can't recall, we can't do anything. But we have a chance in 10 days again to change that entire process. There are 51% of voters are young people.
Yes.
They have a chance to retire the old brigades. But you see what they are doing on social media with it. If Atiku says to Davido, you are the king of music, he gets 40,000, 450,000. What does Atiku even know about it?
Davido.
You know, but those are the kind of very fickle things we spend our time on instead of spending our time on substance.
So earlier, Omoyele said that social media is a plus and in a way also has been a subtraction or an issue, a distraction. Let me maybe use that word. So Philip, let me ask you, as I said, so many young Nigerians, millions of young Nigerians could be the deciding vote or the deciding factor in elections that are just about 10 days away. And we wonder what are the issues that are germane and paramount to them. You don't really have a collective of young Nigerian voices that stands up and tells you this is the situation. ASUU is still on strike. Almost 3 months later, going into an election, ASUU is still on strike. How many of the candidates have talked about education? How many of the candidates have talked about fixing what is wrong with universities? Now, he talks about social media being an avenue since the recall process. Yes, if you go through the Constitution, the recall process is difficult. Petitions, they rarely answer. So do you really think for this generation of young Nigerians whose language is social media language, could social media be the absolute key in holding governments accountable?
ASUU is on strike. Big Brother Nigeria is auditioning. And then majority of young Nigerians are not in school, and maybe they don't want to go back to school because they want to go to the house. Holding government accountable with social media. Honestly speaking, where I'm from Bauchi State. I don't campaign on Facebook. I don't have a Facebook page for my campaign. Politics is local. My people, they don't care about what you say on Twitter. They don't care about the post you put on Facebook. It's what he hears in the Shayi streets or the Suya or in the markets or in the gathering that concerns his opinion or shape the decision he makes. I might divert a little. We were talking about the National Assembly. Majority of Nigerians don't really, if I'm to ask now, who is your senator, who is your House of Reps member, they don't know. So how will you even know what he's supposed to do? Legislation is beyond just being an honorable member or a senator. We need to understand that apart from the normal plenary where they debate over motions and bills, we have oversight where they meet MDAs, ministries, they talk about other stuff. We have a constituency project which directly concerns you as the member of that constituency or community is representing. Now, to hold them accountable, that's what we're talking about, right? To hold them accountable, I feel Nigerians need to, you need to first know who is representing you. I'm from Bauchi State. My senator is Lawal Yayakumau. He is the current senator that once said if he is in power, they will make a legislation that will make the president stay in office forever. If you guys can remember, it was trending. That was my senator. Now, I'm lucky to work in the National Assembly as a legislative aide. I understood how legislation is done, which was part of what prompted me to come out and vie for office. Not because I want to have cars like Dino, but I realized these people are no different from any one of us. They are just there. Yes. Now, another thing again to understand is that saying we should digitalize the National Assembly. Asara reporters have been doing a lot so far, attacking the institution as a whole, budget trackers, and all of. You see, Nigerians need to understand one thing. If you say a senator should have an email address, he doesn't read it. There's an aide that has received the emails. He decides which email goes. All the senator can care to do maybe is when a petition is brought from somebody in his constituency that said, I work with the Nigerian police, I was sacked inappropriately without my permission or stuff. That's when he comes to the Senate, lay a petition and say, one of the members of my constituency has done this or has done that. Or when he goes for constituency project to distribute keke napers or to distribute tailoring machines. That is where Nigerians feel we are engaging them. So I call on, should I say, people concerned, civil society organizations that are pushing that these people should have functioning email address. I think more concern should be on their legislative aid. I was once there. They are the ones that read those emails. They are the ones that reply. He said it. He said, for example, that people will tweet. The video is. He was not the one that tweeted it. No, that's the fact. So we can't have those BScs. We can't go to school for nothing. I feel the Nigerian youth are still to understand that the difference between us and them, I like to use that word, is that we are more enlightened. We are more exposed. So holding government accountable starts with an individual. In Game of Thrones, the movie, someone said knowledge is power. The other lady said power is power. Seize him, cut his neck. He has all the knowledge, but she has the power. So we have that power too, to actually always disturb them till they realize that we know what we want and they bring it down to us.
We'll come to questions just shortly, but Toye, I'll throw this question to you. We seem to talk always to Nigerians, a very valid point that Sydenews made, that in his constituency, who's on Facebook, who's doing the social media influencing, and that discordant conversation at times, we tend to forget that there are millions of Nigerians who are illiterate, for lack of a better word, who live in the rural areas, who are not on social media, who may not get these messages of all the campaigns and the advocacies that we do on social media, and who do listen to the mishais and who listen to the gossip and all the neighborhood things. How do we bridge that gap? Because there is something to be gained from social media, but we cannot completely ignore those who are not on social media, who are many more than the people who are even on social media, and still push the message of holding government accountable to them. How do we bridge that gap when it looks like we're talking to two different Nigerians and we need to speak two different types of languages?
Okay. Thank you. I mean, this, in terms of reaching out to individuals who are at the, the very low cadre. Now, you can as well do some form of advocacy, you can as well do some form of town hall meetings and all that. Because truly, when we look at the voting patterns, 51% of these individuals are students. Now, this 51% I can assure you on social media. Now, reaching out to them is a good thing. It's a fantastic idea. However, my challenge with those 51% is their inability to do more critical thinking, more deep thinking on the country that they live in. So it's not just like, Sowore said again, it's not just to be literate, it's about educating yourself and asking yourself what really matters to you. Then secondly, going back to those people who really don't have access to social media, we can reach them through the town hall meetings and have advocacy meetings with, like me, for instance. I've been going around, I have 12 wards I must visit. And in the 12 wards, I've had town hall meetings with them, trying to, make them understand some of the challenges that, they're facing and all that. I also realized that, Abuja, the so-called big Abuja that everybody knows, is run by small businesses. That is what runs the economy of Abuja. So it's the market woman, it's the man who owns a shop, it's the man who owns a plaza, who's selling clothes and all that. It's the guy who is selling his chai and tea and all those things. Those are the people that run the economy of Abuja. Now, those people, however, do not know or do not realize that every day the government, as it is now, not federal government, the municipal government, every day is harassing them out of their businesses. Now, these same guys, when you go and meet them and say, look, do you know this thing, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, they don't know. Talk to them and talk with them. Having like you said, how many of us know who our senators are? How many of us know who our House of Rep candidates or House of Rep members are? How many of us know who the chairman is? In Abuja, we found out that 90% of the people we spoke to did not know who the chairman of the municipal area council is. We went out and we asked questions. Who is this guy? They don't know. They just know the office, but they don't know the individual.
So how do they vote? How do they associate an individual candidate or a party?
I'll throw some numbers for you. Now, in the last election, the municipal area council had a total vote of about less than 100,000 votes out of a voter population of about 920,000. Now, it's a big challenge. Now, these guys are the ones that take, the municipal takes care of, your immediate environment, sanitation, water, roads, markets, parks, and all that. They take, tenement rates and all those things. Now, the reason why is, and I'll also say this, Abuja is a cosmopolitan city, yet underdeveloped. So you have a lot of big houses, you have a lot of massive roads and all that, but yet the individuals who live in Abuja, a lot of them are underdeveloped. So when reaching out to those people and say, oh, look, you have to do something, like, oh, I didn't know, oh, I would like to know. So what my candidacy has done is to shed a lot of light on the municipality. And so I also speak to young people that, look, we need to go back to the grassroots and reach out to them. Some of them don't know actually. So it's good we're on social media, it's good that we speak on social media, but at the same time we need to take the message down to them. That's my thinking. And it's a two-way. So you're building on social media, you're also building at the grassroots level. Yeah.
All right, Elizabeth, my final question to the panel before we go to questions. So we've talked about the social media angle, we've talked about recall, lack of, but then another part of holding governments accountable is citizens feeling invested in the democratic process. And I know many people, even here, are apathetic to the democratic process in Nigeria. We don't feel like we're getting the dividends of democracy. We don't feel like our voices are being heard. We don't feel like the issues that are necessary are being taken care of. So when you have someone who's apathetic, there's definitely going to be a reluctance to even get involved. How do we talk to those who are apathetic and get them to stand up and get involved in the process to also becoming somebody who holds governments accountable?
Thank you. I always speak of my constituency. I was telling His Excellency earlier on, I am coming from a very disadvantaged place. You can't get them on radio. They don't have televisions, few of them. And the local government headquarters have television. There's no lights, no electricity, no network. How do you get to this place? I went for campaign in a place. We went to some extent with a car, then we picked a bike, then the rest of the way we had to trek. There was no road. But I was determined to get to them at the grassroots. I wanted to do it myself. I wanted to feel what they were feeling. I want to see how they live. So when we got there, they came out and saw us. They were initially reluctant, but at the point they began to come out in mass, they came plenty. Then the head of the clan told us that 2019, they have decided they were not going to vote for anybody. But seeing that I was new and I was young, they felt I have something different, and that is why they are out. That I should please keep my promise. So now, the thing we need to do is to go get them from the grassroots and sensitize them, because they can hardly be reached. So to bring them out, you get to some places, there are no schools. The The children, they wake up in the morning, they go to the farm, they come back, they eat and sleep. And that is what they do till they grow, mature, get married, and their children continue. So, with these few months, I've had a lot of experience. I've met people and I've gone to places. Now, it is easy for Tonya to say that most of the youth are on social media. But for me, it's a different ball game altogether. The people from my constituency that stays in the metropolitan, their PVC is for that place, not from the village. So they vote where they live. So the people that are going to vote for me are mostly illiterate. So they don't have access to what you have access to. So you need to talk to them. Now, we have to make a logo, a specimen, a dummy of the
ballot paper.
No, dummy of
ballot paper.
Ballot paper, sorry. To show them, educate them on how to vote. They don't know. If you don't take your time to educate them, they make papers invalid because they can go and vote in between or vote on two spaces like that.
Okay, I'll stop you right here. I didn't know the time signal I got was very short. Let's start with just 3 very quick. We are not doing contributions. I'm asking solely for questions, and I'm very specific. Your name and straight to the question, or I will move on. Nigerians and microphones is like this. We have a lot of them. So please, let's respect the panelists and let's respect others here. 3 questions, your name and your question, please straight to the point. The young lady here, the young lady back there, and the gentleman in front here.
Good morning, my name is Sami and I'm a student. So I just want to ask that when it comes to the voting situation, what is any body doing about making it a more conducive situation? Because I have my PVC and I know what I suffered to get that PVC, and then to collect it's, and then when you want the actual voting day to go come pick you, for me to collect my PVC, I had to wake up at 6 o'clock 3 times, and I still met the queue. And they just told me, they had to tell me, if you are serious about this thing, wake up as early and get here as early as 4 o'clock. And it's not safe. I can't be at that place at 4. That is how difficult it is. So I just want to know, like, what are they doing? Because it's not really about telling us to go. It's about making this thing. I know you guys, we have to also contribute, but we actually have to be safe. And we have to feel like, you know, it's bad enough that you are trying and it's almost like it's not counting. And then the stress is. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take the questions together so we can quickly answer.
Good morning. My name is Abu Samad. And my question is, you look at the justice system and the rule of law in Nigeria.
Are they directed to anyone? Just generally.
So, you look at the justice system and the rule of law in Nigeria, you talk about holding government accounts. I feel like, don't you think that it has been an impediment to helping us realize and accountable government? That's what happened with CJN. Do you think that the justice system and the rule of law has been an impediment to realizing and accountable government?
Alright, thank you. And the lady behind this.
Good morning, Vanessa of Sydenews. My question is, we know that over 51% of registered voters are youth, and of which majority are students. Currently, we know there's an ASU strike, and as of this morning, I read in the news that we have about 22 million registered voters who are at home, and majority of these people actually registered at that in their schools or places closer to their school. Now, don't you think this already has disrupted we holding government accountable?
With the very first question, I'll just have one of the panelists answer that, and she asked about how to make the voting process more conducive, what is being done. I don't know if anybody can speak in terms of what INEC is doing in that regard, but if you have any information, please share that, Tonya.
Okay, let me say something. Yeah, where we are right now as a country, where you know, pardon my language, but we're in a big mess. Now, we need to do everything humanly possible to get ourselves out of that mess. I'd like to congratulate you for actually waking up in the morning and going out that early 3 times to get your PVC. It shows that you care for Nigeria and you want to make a difference. So I will congratulate you for that. However, the policy of government or the way these things are being run, a lot of times, like I said, it's because we have leaders who don't care about the people that they're serving. So, because we want to change that, we need to beat them at their game. They are trying to make it impossible or almost impossible for people to do this thing. So in other words, we also need to tell them that we care so much. So we'll wake up, even if it's 4 a.m., to get to where we need to go to and ensure that we collect our PVCs. If we need to stay there till 1 a.m., we will do that. We will make arrangements. So some of the things I've been telling my guys is, look, on that day, start getting water ready, start getting food ready. If you need to pack food, if you need to pack water, if you need to wear comfortable shoes, you need to do that because they will do everything humanly possible to rig the elections. So you need to do everything humanly possible to make it impossible for them to rig the elections.
You can't do same thing and expect different results, right? Maybe you have been voting a similar party or a similar kind of people. So imagine where you have to do your voters registration online after 2019, yes. Where you don't have to, you have the data connection. If we can vote Big Brother Nigeria online in millions, yes, we can do that. They are doing everything possible, as he said, to make sure they frustrate you. They once said we are lazy. We are not lazy, right? You have gone there. So it's about you now voting with a different mindset. I believe the Not Too Young to Run has given chance for emerging new leaders. I call them digital leaders. So you have the chance now, with that your voter's card, to change how things have been done. Try it this time around. Talk to your friends about it. Just try and vote new people, and you'll get new ideas.
New ideas.
The last time you have to suffer like this if you vote the right person, and you have alternatives out there, and of which I'm one of them. If I'm your president, when I'm your president,
we are not.
No worry, I'm a presidential candidate. Don't worry. You never have to suffer to get a PVC because your PVC will be digital in 4 years, and we should be able to vote online, vote in Nigeria, and people in that. But if you put these analog leaders back, suffer again in another 4 years.
So the next question that was asked was about justice and the rule of law, the justice system in terms of being an impediment to holding our leaders accountable. He referenced the current case of the CJN Justice Walter again going on right now, and I'm very sure there are many cases that we see here in 5 minutes that we can pick that sort of make it look like whoever is in power is using the judiciary as a tool that is not actually making it easy for individuals to hold government accountable. I think eventually we did direct it to you, so please go ahead and answer.
So what you have in the Nigerian judicial system is not justice, it's just us. It's only meant for a few people. The judges, there's something they say in Nigeria that you have to hire 2 lawyers. The one that knows the law and the one that knows the judge. It's the one that knows the judge that can win you the case. The one that knows the law is the one that will make the noise. There is no justice system in Nigeria, that's the truth. Justice has gone up for sale. I will say it again, I was the first person to issue a red flag on Sahara Reporters Day about the Chief Justice of Nigeria when they found millions of dollars in his account. The EFCC issued a statement that is not true, that we lied. When it was convenient for them to go after Omoyele, they suddenly found the document because they are in possession of it. But they need compromised judges to handle the election petition tribunals that will be coming, because that's the biggest market in the judiciary. The moment you're an election tribunal judge, you are going to make your billions from the cases that are coming up. That's what you're saying. But it's up to Nigerians, and I will say this again, this is an opportunity in a few days to get rid of the old brigade and put in place a justice system. It's not only the judicial justice system, it's a social justice system that will guarantee you a breathing space in this country called Nigeria has been strangulating you.
The other question was about students voting. Like she said, many students have registered around their schools, close to their schools, but ASU is currently on strike. And it's very likely that that strike will not be called off before before we go to the election. So what do we do? I think the bigger question at the end of the day is, what do students do? Some people, as adults, have said, wherever you voted Thursday, travel there. I don't know how convenient it would be for many students to go back to the cities that host their schools in order to vote. But anyone who wants it, we can take a look at that. Toyin?
I will still speak to realizing that when in trouble, you know,
people need to know.
We are, and I'll tell you why. I mean, just talking about the justice system, I was just reading, you know, on my way to Lagos that there's a present lawyer who was paid about 1.4 billion naira for the court case or something. And I'm asking myself, you know, how does that work? You know, how did we get to this point where somebody will say he was paid 1.4 billion to do what? You know, of course it is to bribe people and to bribe the judicial system, but somebody is trying to use the law to suit himself, and Nigerians are keeping quiet. When he said Sahara reporters decided to blow out the Chief Justice of Nigeria case, this came out and said it was, you know, it was not true. All of a sudden, there's a report that they also leaked and said that he has the money he has in his accounts are proceeds of crime or of bribery and, you know, corrupt or illicit funds. We need to realize where we are as a people. Then, once we realize it, then if you know you have I know students who are on their way to their various schools presently, as I'm talking to you, just to ensure that they partake in the election. That is how serious some of them are taking it. Now, for the mere fact that some people have refused to do it does not mean that others are not doing it. So we need to focus more. My mentor said to me one time that it is not as if we don't have good Nigerians or good leaders, but the media and, you know, we, the followers, have focused more on the individuals who are not doing it, that we've forgotten that there are people actually getting these things done. Yes. So we need to tell the students who have decided that they are, you know, they are the biggest or the large chunk of people who have collected their voters, that look, it is time for you to sacrifice. If you do not sacrifice for Nigeria, then you cannot blame anybody. You can't point fingers. That is the truth. So, INEC, like I said, has done something that will frustrate people. The federal government has also worked with INEC to do that. But we need to beat them at their game and actually go and actually vote. That's my take on it. Thank you.
Apologies, I know we want to take more questions, but time is not with us. I just want to remind all of us of just a few things before we leave. There are 84 million plus registered voters, and I hope that the majority of you in this room are registered and have your PVCs. There are almost 12,000 polling units, 91 registered political parties, and the elections are less than 10 days away. Obi Ezekwesili talks about a 20-year cycle. If you're a student of political history and you look at other countries, you do see that there is an opportunity to develop and change. Nigeria is on the cusp of another 20-year cycle. The choice is yours, really.
And also, there is a new generation of Nigerians that are 2020, we call them children of democracy. They are the secrets to defeating the old brigade. The thing that happened with ASU was planned by the federal government. They knew already that there are 22 million voters per student. Yes. They had to keep you out of your school so that you don't vote. Because they know that these are the most angry Nigerians and you're about to punish them with your votes. But regardless of what they've done to you, please please find your way to your voting polling booths and units and vote these guys out. They are the people who brought us strength into this country. Vote them out. Vote out our people. Vote out our lives.
One final thing I do want to make a point. Let's not all think that voting is the last responsibility we have as citizens. Voting is the easiest and the lowest hanging fruit in the democracy. If you're going to hold government accountable, either you voted for the person who wins or you didn't vote for the person who wins, you need to be involved after the elections. Democracy does not end when a winner is declared. So please, after the elections, be engaged, look up to EIE, Budget is doing a fantastic job, Tracker MG, shine your eye, let you know who your representatives are. Please go on these platforms. Citizen Gamble, they're all on social media, they're all young people oriented. You have the tools at your disposal. Please, let's use them. Thank you very much.
People are going to sit on that chair now after.
And that brings us to the end of the program. So I think that's going again, which is going to be in a little while because we have a rally for the 2nd constituency. I'm still everything just